The first winners are declared, and the last time is now tournament. We have new women's tag team champions. The road to War Games has commenced, and oh yeah, John Cena is a Grand Slam champion and a title holder in the WWE. Once again, it all went down in Boston. This is the Raw recap of WWE and Fanatics original production. Megan, this is one of those Raws. And I can't say that I'm surprised when they tell you that it's John Cena's last night as an active competitor in Boston, when we realized that we were on that final loop of John Cena. That even like over a year ago, when John Cena shows up and says 2025 will be my last year, but I'm going to be here all year, and the WrestleMania will be my last WrestleMania, and Royal Rumble will be my last Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank will be my last Money in the Bank. You still couldn't really, it's a whole year. You couldn't really fathom it coming to an end. And when you did, usually when a car, even a Ferrari or something like that, is ending its time on the road, it putters out. You know what I mean? You drive that Ferrari until the wheels fall off. Yet here we are. There are 3 appearances left for John Cena in one of the most unique and noteworthy retirement runs in the history of the business. And John Cena, the greatest of all time, is the Intercontinental Champion.
Sam, he is still making history.
Yes.
We have 3 appearances left on the John Cena retirement tour, and he is not puttering out.
No.
He is a champion in WWE.
He beat the man
He's never held the Intercontinental Championship before.
And I would say that since his entire run in WWE, he beat the toughest Intercontinental Champion that he's ever been in the ring with. I would say that that's true. And you could check the history books on that. Listen, this didn't go the way that I wanted.
Are you upset?
The beginning of Raw, from a sort of big picture perspective, had it been anybody besides Dominic Mysterio, I would tell you it couldn't have gone any better. The idea that Triple H comes out, the idea that they're in Boston, this amazing city.
By the way, I know a lot of Boston fans were very upset that John Cena's last match wasn't going to be in Boston. I used to live in Boston. I have a lot of Boston friends. I was getting texts all day. Oh my God, Cena's last match. Oh my God, are we going to be disappointed? What's going to happen? And there was just a ton of anticipation surrounding tonight for Boston fans. And then you saw Cena get emotional the last time in his hometown. I don't think it could have gotten any better for Boston tonight.
No, because there was even a conversation of what is John Cena going to do? And I don't think it was on many bingo cards before today that John Cena would even wrestle.
Become champion?
No, not even wrestle a match on Monday Night Raw. There was no match advertised. It was John Cena will address the crowd. And Triple H comes out. First of all, the fact that Raw is starting with Triple H is like, this is going to be an episode, right? We're on to something here. Triple H coming out and just being in the ring to cut this promo about the fact that John Cena is inarguably the greatest of all time, not in a this is good marketing, not in a this is a catchy nickname, but in a listen, I'm the guy who has this unique perspective of any perspective that exists, where there's been nobody else that can sit there and say, I'm the promoter, I'm also a talent, I'm also a fan, I'm also a businessman, I'm also a everything. Triple H gets to say that he's excelled at every single one of those buckets, and he has seen everything you could possibly seen in the WWE since opening the door in the mid-90s. And he comes out and he says, like, without exception, John Cena is the greatest of all time. So we are in Boston to just commend John Cena. And for one more night, for Boston to be able to hear that music and see John Cena come out. And John's music plays and you understand why Boston is one of these revered wrestling markets. You know, and by the way, this is true throughout the whole show. Yeah, I know you noticed it in the Stephanie Vicaire match.
Oh, yeah.
They knew how to respond to a devil's kiss.
Yes.
But I mean, it was throughout the entire.
These are diehards.
Yes. And were there. Like, they brought all of the energy.
I mean, you could see the amount of green shirts in the crowd for
Everywhere.
John Cena. Which, by the way, those shirts were unbelievable.
Incredible. Absolutely
Looked
incredible.
just like the banners up in the rafters.
With all the dates of John Cena's big Boston matches on the shirt. So Cena comes out, and he really is just talking about how his goal is to leave the business better than he found it. And with all the sort of news that was breaking on Monday Night Raw, let us not bury the fact that Cena announced for the first time that Saturday night's main event, December 13th, which is the last match for John Cena, is also going to be, you know, people keep talking about this tournament in the context of John Cena's first appearance on SmackDown and this brand new guy, fresh out of developmental, confronting Kurt Angle. And how do you replicate that? And you don't replicate that with John Cena. But how do you replicate that? You replicate that in this genius way where John Cena announces that this Saturday night's main event is going to be made up of exhibition matches where some of the top stars in the WWE go against NXT's finest.
And that's what John Cena wants to do. He wants to leave the business better than he found it.
And give out as many opportunities as he possibly can. And I think that's what this whole tournament is. The fact that 16 superstars are competing for this match, which means that John Cena attention is to varying degrees put on all 16 of them. And then bringing people up from NXT to go like, okay, this is probably going to be the Saturday night's main event with more eyeballs on it than any other in the modern era.
Oh, of course.
And guess what? You get an opportunity, and you get an opportunity, and you get an opportunity.
And that's massive for these NXT superstars.
Huge.
Because you and I are watching NXT every week, but there's some people just tuning in for Cena's last match, and they're going to get a treat to see these NXT superstars.
Right. And just as he's saying, I just want to say thank you to Boston. I just want to say thank you.
You can see the tears welling up in his eyes. He's talking about the first time he came to a WWE show at the TD Garden.
At the original Boston Garden.
Yes, and how emotional this was for him. And he didn't get to pick the locations, but his one request was to come home to Boston one last time.
And just as he's getting this off his chest, tears came to my eyes. Happy tears. Because Dominic Mysterio's music played, and I'm just like, yes. You know, we come on here, and I make you eat your words every week by saying, listen, there's no cities anymore that boo Dominic Mysterio. Everybody loves Dominic. You're not going to get him booed, except there's one city and one circumstance left where you better believe. I mean, this was old school Dominic boos. This was Dominic can't get out a sentence, Dominic boos.
I like how he put a little extra product in the hair because he had a little extra grease in the hair, make it extra dirty. And when
That's conditioner.
He came out, he was shaking the hair.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was cocky. He was confident. But if there's one place left that will still boo Dom, it's Boston when he's interrupting a John Cena thank you to Boston promo, and he's interrupting it to talk to Triple H about the fact that his celebration that he wanted to have last week didn't go well. Like, of all the times to come out and say like, hey, no, I got to talk to you about what happened last week. And here he comes and he's talking to Triple H about it, and John Cena tries to say, hey, and then no, relax, old man. You know what I mean? I'm not
confidence out of Dirty Dom.
Yeah.
I mean, just to not understand the magnitude of the moment, the timing.
He understood
to disregard all of it.
No, yeah, that's right. He understood it. He chose to disregard it
because that's what he does as a double champion.
Well, listen, to his viewpoint, an old man interrupted his moment last week. So he's here to interrupt an old man's moment. He interrupts old men's moments. That's what he said.
And Dominic doesn't view Cena as the greatest of all time. He views himself as the greatest of all time. And he even pointed out that he hasn't even really hit his prime yet.
His peak. Well, I mean, is he a fan or is he a superstar? He's a superstar. So who should he think is the greatest of all time? You can't just say, I mean, Dominic is not in a space in his career where it's time for reverence for everybody around him. He's in the take portion of his career. He's in the give it all to me portion of his career. And he's taking this moment. I don't think that he realized exactly how this was going to go. I mean, he's not wrong. Rey Mysterio, he was having a moment on Monday Night Raw last week, and Rey Mysterio did interrupt it. And nobody said any of this about Rey interrupting his moment last week. Nobody was like, oh, why wouldn't you have more reverence? The greatest is that 2 double champ is in there. AAA Mega. WWE Intercontinental. And everybody's like, oh, yay, Rey's back.
After everything that Dom has done to Rey as well?
I mean, carried his name, whatever. So Cena, unfortunately, becomes serious Cena. And when Cena becomes serious Cena, it's kind of scary because you go, oh, boy. It's almost like when a computer becomes self-aware. It's like we're all having fun. We're all having fun. We all know Cena's the greatest, but we're all having fun together. And then he's like, wait a second. Are you challenging me? And you're like, uh-oh. And he's like, we're all having fun because it's my choice. You can't. He said, I'm invincible today. We're in Boston. It's my last night.
But then Dom came back with even more confidence as a double champ and said, any time, any place.
Any era. Well, yeah, because John Cena said wrong time, wrong place, wrong guy. And then to Triple H's credit, he said, well, I could come up with a time and a place and an era and a guy. I could come up with all that. We have it all right here. And in an instant, the promo becomes, pop your shirt off, John. It's time to fight for the Intercontinental Championship.
I was stunned. I thought Triple H was going to say, and this will be our main event.
Right. You know when when he's ramping up, it's like there's no way he's going to say, and we'll do it. Because I had said, look, I want to see John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. I said I want to see it at Survivor Series. I want to see it in Dominic's hometown, San Diego. I want Dominic to win. But it wasn't meant to be.
I think you also said once that you wanted Dominic to lose.
I don't think I've ever said that about anybody, but that's what I wanted to see. And I go, oh, okay, we're going to get it tonight, right now, immediately. And the match goes on, and look, Dominic Mysterio, he looked like $1 million. Like let's not forget, Dominic Mysterio did kick out of an AA. He kicked out.
That's a fact.
Referee took a little long time to get to the ring, but he still kicked out.
Do you think his obsession with using underhanded tactics and cheating is actually getting in the way of him winning? I think it may have tonight.
No, I don't think so. If anything, he hit his finish. I think it was just John Cena's in Boston. I don't think there was anything about Dominic Mysterio being up to his old tricks that led to his loss.
What about the chair?
Well, here's the problem. Everybody else that Dominic Mysterio is in the ring with, they don't have a storied history with Eddie Guerrero. John Cena
with his father
has yes, with his lineage, with his bloodline. John Cena has a storied history with Eddie Guerrero. John Cena and Eddie Guerrero, they fought in a parking lot brawl. They fought all over the place. On SmackDown in the early 2000s, when John Cena was just starting out, one of the guys that he wrestled with, that he teamed with, was Eddie Guerrero. The chair throw, the hit the ground, give the other guy the chair and hit the mat. That's an Eddie trick. The boot trick, these are all Eddie tricks. And when you're John Cena and you've seen the greatest do it, Eddie Guerrero, it's almost like, yeah, I know your game, kid. And I think that maybe Dom, in this instance, didn't realize it.
He underestimated the greatest of all time, John Cena.
I mean, it's possible. It's certainly possible that happened because John Cena then laid down, did the double Eddie trick and winked.
It was great.
I mean, that's insult to injury.
That was my favorite part of the entire match.
That's insult to injury right there. The ref goes down. Dominic, he taps out to the STF. But here's, Joe Tass on commentary said John Cena should be the Intercontinental Champion. Dominic tapped out to the STF.
No bell.
However, Dominic did not tap out to the STF because he quit. Dominic tapped out to the STF because he realized there was no referee in the ring, so he could tap out instantly and get John Cena to take the hold off
So
of him.
you're claiming that this was all a strategy.
If there's no referee in the ring, tap out immediately. Why wouldn't you? Why would you be like, oh, why don't I just wait and have this horrible submission hold applied to me for as long as humanly possible? Of course it was strategy. Immediately get it off me. There's no evidence whatsoever that Dominic would have lost there. There was no tap out.
There was a tap out. The referee didn't see it.
Smart
but
tap out.
Dominic knew that the referee wasn't there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So it was a good way to get Cena to release a hold.
Genius. And then we end up with Cena hitting the AA, Eddie running down the aisle, second referee jumping in the ring, 1, 2. Dom's able to kick out. Then Dom is able to hit the 619 into the frog splash. Somehow, I didn't realize Super Cena was back. You know, there are many eras of John Cena. I didn't realize.
Again, he's not puttering out.
No, he's Boston.
Making history.
He's Super Cena again, and he rolls through the frog splash. And then once he rolled through and picked up Dom and put him on his shoulders, I went, no. And he put him up for that AA, hit it, 1, 2, 3, at the cost of Dominic Mysterio, which,
It's amazing that you're upset about this.
I mean, it's history, but also like, you know, I thought that John was all about, you know, giving opportunities to the young guys and everything.
He's also about hustle, loyalty, and respect.
I forgot about
which
that.
is really the exact opposite of Dominic Mysterio.
Well, whatever, they're both champs. I mean, Dominic Mysterio is the type of champ to lose a championship and he's still a champion.
Well, because
You know what
he
I'm
has
saying?
another title.
I mean, and so it's like you can't exactly go like, you know what's wrong with Dominic? Absolutely nothing is wrong with Dominic. But to see Cena get his moment, unbelievably win the Intercontinental Championship for the first time, it certainly completely changes the dynamic of everything we've got going into the remainder of this sort of John Cena 2 or the 3 more appearances. Like,
it's kind of wild because everything Cena's accomplished and nobody was talking like, oh, I'd love to see him become Intercontinental Champion.
it was just like once you win the 17th world title,
It's like, well, what else is there to do?
and there's also only 3 appearances left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that mean now that the people fighting in the tournament are realizing, hey, there's a pretty good chance the Intercontinental title is going to be on the line in that
Could
last
be.
match? Is this Sheamus trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
It could be.
What if Sheamus makes it to the finals and he finally gets his Intercontinental
He
title
even said
match?
with us last week he's been obsessed with the Intercontinental
He
Championship.
could literally knock out all of his goals in 1 match.
And then he becomes
But
a Grand Slam champ.
unfortunately, that match is with John Cena. And that's going to be
Yes.
tough for anybody. But I mean, I just can't. And I want to talk about the celebration after the match. But first, I want to talk to you about ZocDoc. You know about ZocDoc?
Oh, I use ZocDoc.
You love
I
ZocDoc,
do.
Megan.
Yes.
ZocDoc is what people need to be looking into now that we're going into 2026. You know what I mean? It's time to take care of yourself. It's time to stop, leaving anything to chance. These night sweats, they're going to turn into all-day sweats. Walking it off for 6 months, it doesn't work. Your fingers go numb texting. You go, I'm fine. You're not fine. You should be using those fingers to go on ZocDoc. You can't just say, I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to change my... Why don't you let a doctor tell you everything that you need to know? Make an appointment, whether it's a dentist appointment for your biannual cleaning, Don't let those people complaining about your halitosis just continue to complain about your halitosis. Do something about it. See a dentist. Go to that overdue annual checkup. It's been almost 3 years in the making. You got to just go. Just pull off the Band-Aid. As a matter of fact, have a doctor tell you where to put the Band-Aid so you can pull the Band-Aid off. ZocDoc, it's a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. That's what you did, right, Megan?
That's right. You put your insurance in. They tell you if they're accepting new patients. They tell you if they accept their insurance. Make an appointment in a day.
You can filter doctors, like you said, by insurance, by location, figuring out like what is convenient for you. Yes, availability, so you can go on your time. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Listen, stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Raw Recap to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Raw Recap. ZocDoc.com/Raw Recap. And an amazing Monday Night Raw it was after this John Cena Dominic Mysterio match. We look at what's going on in gorilla position, and we see all these superstars. Damian Priest is there, and Tozawa's there, and
Stephanie
Maxine
Vaquer
Dupree,
is
Stephanie
there.
Vaquer, the women's world champion. Everybody's there congratulating John Cena.
I mean, that's a big deal. She had a title match later in the night.
But it's John Cena in Boston
be
for
there.
the last time as the Intercontinental Champion. He got the one more point picture with Triple H. And we got it for real this time. The last point picture with Triple H, John Cena was showing his back. And you saw the one moment he was putting the title around his waist. It is kind of nice that we finally get real John Cena, babyface John Cena, the John Cena that we love as a champion. That is nice. Because there was that one moment where he was strapping it around his waist backwards, and he was like, nah, put it on his shoulder, takes the pointing picture with Triple H. I was happy that he had the conversation with Rey Mysterio because John Cena came across as more paternal as far as Dominic Mysterio goes than Rey was. John Cena was the one who goes, oh, no, he's a good kid. He'll learn. And Rey's sitting there going like, I'm glad you beat up my son and took his title. It's like, oh, that's nice. That's real nice. I wonder why Dominic Mysterio has
Or
an attitude.
maybe he was looking at it like, finally somebody can teach my son a lesson.
Well, maybe
because
he should have
won't
done
listen to me.
So you're going to John Cena to do it?
I mean, who's better?
He's
than
20.
John Cena.
He's an adult, Dominic Mysterio.
Never too late to learn a lesson.
Listen, people go like this. Oh, I can't believe my son has a neck tattoo. That's what they say. I can't believe my son has a neck tattoo, and all he's doing is getting more neck tattoos. Dom's neck is getting more and more covered by the week. Why is that? Because he got no attention at home. Because Rey Mysterio is going, you know what one of my favorite things to do is? Watch my son lose a title. That's crazy. You think these Little League dads, they want their sons, they get mad when their sons don't win trophies. Rey's the only one that was rooting against him at Little League games.
Dom should be
He LOL'd on the Twitter, Rey Mysterio did. He put LOL on Twitter after the match.
Well,
That's horrible. Can you imagine that? If your dad LOL'd you, I mean, you finished a marathon this weekend.
I did.
It's badass.
Thank you.
But imagine if you hadn't finished the marathon.
I thought about not
Right.
a few times.
But imagine you go down, right?
Yep.
You're like, okay, I'm done. I made it
That's
to
it.
mile 18 and a half.
Oof.
Rough.
Yeah.
And as you're walking off, you're like, I guess I'll see what's on Twitter. And you just see from, Mr. Morant. And it just says, LOL. You'd be like, what the hell?
I also don't have the history that Dominic has where my actions led to that LOL.
No?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what the relationship is like. But then, and it's not, by the way, I'm not saying that your dad is Ja Morant. I'm just saying Mr. Morant. It's a different Morant altogether.
Yeah, very different, yeah.
But then a surprise face, Cody, comes face to face with John Cena.
Wasn't expecting to see him on Raw tonight.
No, for the first time since SummerSlam. And there was that moment where it was like, whoa, like your heart kind of drops when you see this.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of them like have a moment, and Cody says, John Cena's last night in Boston, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. And John says, you're a class act. And they shake hands once more. Cody holding the WWE championship that he won from John Cena. And a lot of people talk about John Cena's last match and who it could potentially be with, and they bring up passing the torch. To me, the torch got passed at SummerSlam. There's a lot of things that can happen in these last matches. There's a lot of things that can happen in the second to last match, in the third to last match. All of these matches are very meaningful, and all of them can mean different things for different superstars. But to me, when you look at John Cena looking at Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes looking at John Cena back, that's the torch passing. That's passing the torch to the guy that you're leaving the company in the hands of. You're sitting there and going like, Cody has said he can do it. Fans believe in Cody, and now the greatest of all time is saying, yeah, Cody is the one. That's what I get from that interaction.
It is funny because as soon as I see Cena with Cody, I go, oh my God, I would love it one more time.
Of course you would.
Just because it's just dangling right there in front of you.
Yeah.
But I think the way you summed it up right there, we had, arguably a match of the year at SummerSlam.
John and Cody?
Yes.
It's in the conversation easily.
Without a doubt. I don't think that's going to be our last match, but the moment there and the nod of respect.
Right. I think the torch has been passed.
That's it.
Right.
But I think the acknowledgement of this is the last match and Cody's there. And then Cody is later on involved in Monday Night Raw even more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which we're going to get to.
Cody's a busy boy.
Yes. But
yeah,
I love that.
It's great.
Yes.
It's great. And you're right. You sit there and you're like, yeah, I want to see another one of these matches. You want the whole thing. Like, if
it is funny because, we have this conversation all the time. It's like, oh, they should turn Cody heel. They should turn Cody heel. Cody should be a bad guy. You see this interaction, you go, no, that was perfect.
Wow, you also...
Cody's the best.
It's not just the interaction. It's the fact that Boston was literally singing his theme after his theme went off.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen by mistake. But we'll get there, okay? So before we wrap it up on the John Cena conversation for now, we also had our first two John Cena tournament matches. We had, and people are taking this John Cena tournament completely differently as well. We had Rusev versus Damian Priest.
Now, this is a Damian Priest who is still suffering from what happened on Friday.
He had his
with
eye.
Aleister Black. We saw as immediately as he makes his entrance, he has...
You could see the inflammation.
That's right.
Around the eye. Of course, Rusev took full advantage of that, as he should. If you walk into a match with an injury that your opponent knows about, any vulnerability should be taken advantage of, especially when the stakes are this high.
And who is Rusev? He's a killer.
That's it.
Obviously, he's going to take advantage of that.
And it's interesting because everybody, they did these great like social media videos before Raw, talking to like Priest and talking to Sheamus. And we talked to Sheamus here on Raw Recap last week. If you missed that interview, just look it up on WWE's YouTube. It was fantastic. But, there's all this conversation about like what it would mean for you to have this match and why you want to have this match. And there's this deep-rooted respect amongst so many people that are having this conversation. But for Rusev, he's angry. He's still angry about WrestleMania 31. He looks back and he said that was the biggest loss of his career. Rusev is the one guy in this tournament who is in this thing because he wants to avenge the loss from 10 and a half years ago at WrestleMania 31 against John Cena. And he got one step closer. He beat Damian Priest. He's moving on to the second round. We also saw Sheamus had an amazing match with Shinsuke Nakamura. And it really was. It was the type of match you want to see in this tournament. It was the type of match that you want to see from Sheamus. It was the type of match that you want to see from Shinsuke. It was just hard hitting all the way through. Like these two guys were fighting for something. And ultimately, Sheamus is the one that comes out on top. So now we have Rusev and Sheamus in the second round. We don't know if they're going to face each other because we haven't seen the way the bracket is seeded yet. So we don't know where everybody's going to get placed in that second round.
We don't even know who we're going to see in the next set of matches on SmackDown.
No, yeah, we have 4 more participants still to be named. On Friday on SmackDown, we have The Miz versus Jey Uso.
Yep.
Which is massive.
Yeah.
And then you have LA Knight versus a mystery opponent. Wild speculation time. Then on Raw next week, you'll have Javon Evans
against Gunther.
I mean, I went on the radio today. I was talking about Gunther. And I said, here is the thing about Gunther. He's one of the great no fun wrestlers of all time.
And you know what Javon Evans is? Maybe the funnest wrestler that I've ever seen in the ring.
And guess what no fun guys like to do?
Destroy fun guys.
Remove fun. Wouldn't it be fun if Javon Evans advanced? Yes, that's why I must end it. I'm the most no fun wrestler of all time. Who else wants? And look, I love a no fun wrestler. I love an ultimate spoiler. I love what did I used to call him? The reality of the whole thing, because it just destroys your fantasy, whatever dreams you may have. They're out the window when Gunther shows up. So I love that. And then you have another mystery opponent scenario where next week in Madison Square Garden, you're going to get Solo Sikoa versus a mystery opponent. So who's to say? We know Damian Priest is out. We know Shinsuke Nakamura is out. I think it's going to get real interesting as we get closer and closer. I think that John Cena being the Intercontinental Champion, seeing the fireworks go off. Did you think when you turned on Raw tonight, you were going to get the title change fireworks going off?
No.
I mean, it wasn't even the only time, but we'll get there. But like, yeah, just a wild thing. And now, I mean, now it's so up in the air. John Cena's going to be on Raw next week at Madison Square Garden. Who has any clue what he's going to be doing? Because now it's fair game to wildly speculate. You know, his last SmackDown, I believe, was the promo that turned into the match with Sami Zayn.
Yes.
Like, this is now happening on television. And that wasn't the case at the beginning of this John Cena run. At the beginning of the John Cena run, for the most part, it was talk, match at the PLE. Talk, match at the PLE. Now it's like, look, we got this much John Cena left. Let's get talking. Let's get matches. Let's get everything.
Oh, I hope we get another match at MSG.
Madison Square Garden? I do too, man. And then Survivor Series. I mean, who knows? There's War Games is being bandied about.
Do we have a new Intercontinental Champion next week? Does John Cena have the title going into Survivor Series? Does he have the title at Saturday night's main event?
Well, there's no way. I mean, John's got it. There's no way he could lose it next week.
I didn't think he could win it this week.
And who knows if he'll even be defending the title. There's a world where he's in that War Games match. CM Punk is putting together a team right now. We see Jey Uso. We see Cody Rhodes. There's a world where John Cena's in that cage.
Yeah.
Who's to say? I'll tell you what. Here's the thing that I love, too, about John Cena. We're going to talk to Big E about this in a moment. But John Cena has a brand new action figure. Before we get to the end of the last year of John Cena, we celebrate John Cena as he comes to the LJN line of WWE action figures. I am so excited about this. We could step back in time to the WWE line that started it all. LJN WWE Superstar figures have returned. The retro toys recall the original design from the 1980s with fan favorites in signature looks, including John Cena, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, and Logan Paul. You can get your favorite or collect them all on Black Friday in stores at Target, at Target.com or WWEshop.com. And look, I have the John Cena right here. I want to, and it's not fair. I saw it like Wade Barrett got to play with his. They've told me in the control room I'm not allowed to play with mine.
They didn't tell me anything, so pass that over here, all right?
But look at it. So although I don't know if I can allow you to open this, because the other thing that's great about these, and now we're going to get geeky, okay? This is such a true to life throwback to the original
Oh God,
WWE.
I feel like I'm listening to the Broski breakdown.
I mean, listen, that's right. To the original WWE LJN line. First of all, it looks perfect, but the last line of WWE LJN action figures came on a black card like this. See how it's black where a lot of the photo, it's not blue like the black, like the back of it. It's black. So all four of these figures are also available in this version, which is the chase version. This is the rarer version of John Cena. The black cards are the rarer figures. The blue cards are slightly more common. The black cards are very, very collectible. They all come with posters inside. And it's so great because obviously like John Cena and Logan Paul weren't around yet to be a part of this original LJN line, which, you know, I mean, we're talking Jesse the Body Ventura. Okay, these are the originals. Look how close that is. Look how close that is. okay? But you have like Dusty Rhodes, who didn't get to be a part of the original LJN line, but is somebody that we always wanted to be a part of it. And then you have Hulk Hogan, that is like exactly like the original first ever WWE Hulk Hogan action figure with the championship title and everything. I mean, I am so excited that these LJNs are back. It's a collector's dream. So make sure Black Friday, you get out there, you get to Target, and you get these figures, because it is so fun that they're going to be back on shelves.
Those are a blast. Look at those.
So cool, right? So cool. Hit them up, Black Friday, get to Target, get your action figures. I want to invite our next guest into the Raw recap, somebody that's going to help analyze all the many, many things that happened tonight on Monday Night Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Big E.
Hey guys, what's happening?
What up, E?
I mean, Big E.
Not much.
We have a lot happening.
Yeah. As a
What a
former
show.
WWE champion and a former Intercontinental champion yourself, to see John Cena at this point in his career on this night against, with all due respect to you,
Come on.
I would
now.
argue the strongest Intercontinental champion that I recall seeing, and I've been watching wrestling for a very long time. For John Cena to be Intercontinental champion tonight, is this mind-blowing for you?
Yes. Yes, it is. I did not expect this at all. I thought surely, okay, we'll set up the Dom match, but here's Judgment Day, gets it thrown out. There's a 6-man or something. We're not actually getting the match. Surely there's going to be some shenanigans. We don't actually get the match. But the fact that we came back, we got the match right away. I love that we got that match. One, I also I love this. Look, I know it's a losing effort, but I do love this for Dom. I think this is the last 2 months. We have 4 more weeks of John Cena's career, and Dominic Mysterio is not in a squash match with John Cena. He's going toe-to-toe with John Cena. He's getting mic time with John Cena. Look, I understand that he lost the title to Cena, but I think this was a big moment for Dom. I think passing of the torch moment might not be the right way to put it, but I think it is a big cosign that, yeah, Dom is a guy we're going to invest in for a long time. And I thought he did a great job, even in a losing effort. Even just seeing, I think for me, one of the big markers was seeing him face to face with John Cena. I didn't see one iota of trepidation on Dom's face. I didn't see a second of, is this moment too big? I saw a dude who thought, not only do I deserve to be here, but I'm better than you. And I'm going to prove that in all aspects. And he didn't get the job done. But I love this for Dom, and I think this is going to be a moment that we look back on when Dom is a world champion, who knows, a year, 2 years from now, whenever that time comes. I think we'll look back at pivotal moments in his career, his ascension to that top spot, and I think we'll look at this as a great moment in his career.
It has been interesting to watch the crowd's reaction to Dominic Mysterio, because last week the entire crowd is chanting "Dirty, Dirty Dom" the whole time as Rey Mysterio is out there. And I keep thinking of the times that Dominic couldn't get a word out on the mic because he was getting booed so loud. And to me, as fun as it is when the crowd is singing Dom's name, it was really funny when he couldn't get a word out because they were booing him. So I'm glad that we got that tonight, because I have a feeling that crowds are going to be chanting Dom's name more often than not, because they're all falling in line with my friend Sam Roberts over here.
It's hard to deny. Look, it is his charisma, his ability, and I think he's just getting better and better. He's getting even more comfortable in the ring. He's getting even better on the mic.
He said it tonight. He's not even at his peak.
And he's right. He's not.
He's not 30 yet. And that, like, most of, you look at the top of the roster, it's all guys in their late 30s and 40s. Like, he still probably has another 5, 6, 7 years before he's really in his prime. Man, his growth has been remarkable. So yeah, it was really a great night for Dom, even though he lost his title. He's going to be back. And this was not what I expected, but it was really a great spotlight for him.
But do you think at all, like, people will go, well, technically that really wasn't the referee assigned to the match. The referee that counted the fall wasn't actually assigned to the match. So there is, unfortunately for John, a little asterisk with the next
How
to the
come
win.
when I complain about referees, you say that it's nonsense, but when you do it, it's justified?
I didn't say that anybody should be fined or suspended.
Multiple fines.
Plural fines and suspensions. I didn't say that, and I certainly didn't call anybody out by name like you did.
I didn't call
but I
anybody
believe
by
you did call Jessica Carr out by name. But I'm just saying a little asterisk. No.
No asterisk. Look, this is pro wrestling. This is pro wrestling. Okay, the man won it legally, and the fact that there wasn't a ref there presently was probably, we could blame Dom for that. Dom and his shenanigans. So look, there's no asterisk at all. You can't put an asterisk on John Cena's title win, anyways. Of all people, how dare you?
No, there is
In Boston, of all places. Come on.
It's
Right
not this.
in his home.
Yeah, no, you might be onto something there. There's at least conversation to have there. How about this? Okay, not to be forgotten, because I felt like there were multiple moments tonight where you were like, oh, I feel like I shouted more times watching this show than I have in weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And one of those moments that I didn't see coming at all and was timed, I feel like, to precision, was Nikki Bella turning on Stephanie if I care.
Nuts.
Like it's like we've been having this nice sort of build of friendship, and Nikki Bella even going like, hey, I'm looking for a friend. I need a friend here to help me kind of ingratiate myself back into the current roster, into the current locker room, and she's helping her. She literally even helped her with the Judgment Day tonight, only to boom, knock her out with that championship, and all of a sudden Nikki Bella has that mean streak.
Look, it's dastardly, it's low, but I love this for Nikki. I do. Her giving her flowers to this current generation, it's beautiful to see. But I don't want to see a Nikki Bella who is just bigging up the younger folks and is saying, you're doing a great job and I'm here to be your friend. I want to see a Nikki Bella who is going after world titles. I want to see a Nikki Bella who is ruthless. And that's the Nikki that we came to know and love. That's the Nikki from a decade ago that was on top, was someone who was going to do whatever it took to be at the top of the industry. So this version of her, I'm excited to see. I thought there was a chance once we saw this pairing. That's the problem with friendships in WWE. Anytime people come together and they're friendly for a bit, I'm just counting down the days where it eventually implodes. Now look, it took 10 years for our friendships to implode in the New Day, but eventually it happens. And I think this is a great trajectory for Nikki. I'm excited to see kind of what unfolds for her. A more ruthless, a more focused, a more, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that title version of Nikki. Yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm with you, E, on being here for it. I just didn't anticipate it coming this quickly. I mean, when you see the relationship with them and everything Nikki was saying about how she knows she's a Hall of Famer. She knows she's done everything in this business, but this is a completely different women's locker room. And she, in a way, has to prove herself that she belongs in this locker room. I guess Nikki Bella just got tired of waiting around and being Miss Nice Girl.
I also think that there's something about what you just said. I think sometimes people get tired of having to prove themselves, because you're not wrong, right? Where it's like, okay, I even though I'm a legend, literally a Hall of Famer, you're all new, and I guess I have to prove myself to you. But at a point, like, past performance does count for something. At a point, I think when people still expect you to continue to prove yourself, it's like, no, we're done. We're done with me proving myself. I'm Nikki Bella. And if you want me to prove myself, here's what I'll do. I'll hurt you. That's how I'll prove myself. I'll start hurting you.
Right. And if CM Punk can come back after a decade, we don't have these conversations about Punk having to prove himself to this current generation or this current locker room. I don't know if we always have these same conversations with the men who've done great things. And look, people can feel the way that they want to about Nikki. They can have their opinions. But I have met so many people who, I'm telling you, the impact of Total Divas and Nikki Bella is real. There are so many women who got into this industry because of that show and because of the Bella twins. There are so many performers who got into the industry because of the Bellas. So whether you're a fan, whether you're a performer, her impact, I think, is something we don't quite talk about enough. We talk about AJ's impact and how many young women she's influenced to get into this industry, but I have met plenty of fans and performers alike who got into our industry, who got into WWE because of Nikki Bella. So let's give her more of her flowers, because I'm not sure she always gets the flowers she deserves.
And Maxine Dupree is one of them. I mean, she talks about it all the time, about how she was so obsessed with Brie and Nikki Bella. And now Maxine Dupree is in a situation where she has an Intercontinental Championship match against Becky Lynch at Madison Square Garden, of all places.
That's going to
next
be
week on Monday Night Raw.
crazy. 2 weeks in a row, 2 new Intercontinental champions in a row. That's going to be nuts.
Well,
Are you calling it right
she
now?
didn't win it
Right
yet.
now, yeah, of course. Who's got more momentum than Maxine Dupree?
The greatest female wrestler of all time, Becky Lynch.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you didn't think about that. I will say I'm excited for this one. The growth, again, you think of someone who's grown, and just someone who is, Maxine is so likable. Her work ethic is evident. You see the posts at the dungeon where she's training with she's someone who wants this. And look, we have so many women who have done this at a very high level for a very long time. And Maxine is someone who is still climbing. She's still someone who's trying to prove herself. But I thought the match she had with Becky was probably her best performance yet. I think Becky's bringing out the best of her. And I can argue that I would say the same thing probably about the match with Lyra. Becky is someone who continues to elevate the talent around her. And I think that is one of her greatest contributions to this industry, is her elevating talent that she is in the ring with. She truly does. And I'm excited to see the version of Maxine Dupree who shows up. And look, of all places, the Garden can be ruthless. New York fans can be ruthless. If you don't bring it, if you don't bring all your energy, everything you got, if you're not ready for that moment, it can be soul crushing. And I know Maxine is going to be prepared for that moment. So I'm really excited for her.
Welcome to the big time.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. You like that one, Sam?
Yeah, big time Bex. I got it.
There you go.
I got it. I got
Yeah.
the connection. And I'll tell you, you're right about New York. New York is the spot. That's why all these big things happen in New York. Did you see, by the way, building up to the big Raw in Boston, there was an Instagram post that went out. John Cena hugging a certain member of the WWE broadcast team. I believe that was myself. Remember where that took place? Anybody remember where that took place?
I remember. Fanatics Fest.
Fanatics Fest. Yes, the place
Fest,
where
yes.
dreams come true. Who would have thought? As a little boy, I'd be able to go to Fanatics Fest one day and have John Cena charge me at 30 miles an hour and give me a giant hug. This is the type of magic that happens at Fanatics Fest, the world's #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest. It is indeed making its return to New York City, giving all of us the option to create even more moments. Yes, Fanatics is bringing you closer to the league's team, superstars, and athletes that you love across 4 action-packed days in July. Meet your favorite WWE superstars, get your hands on exclusive merch, catch live podcasts, and interact with the biggest names in sports. Tickets go on sale this week. It's November 13th, this week. And fans of this show can get 10% off by using Raw Recap 10 at checkout. So go fanaticsfest.com, November 13th, put in Raw Recap 10 for 10% off, and we will see you at Fanatics Fest. Now, when we talk about what some of the women were doing on Monday Night Raw, when we talk about these title changes, in one fell swoop, not only did we get new women's tag team champions in the Kabuki Warriors, not only did we get Lash Legend, who out of nowhere in the last 4 days has gone from superstar with all the potential in the world on NXT to somebody that everybody is taking notice of on the main roster. But we went all the way to beginning the crafting phase of women's War Games teams. We heard those words come out of a returning Rhea Ripley's mouth. War Games, as who was it? It was Rhea, and it was Io, and it was Charlotte, and it was Alexa Bliss in the ring looking down at Asuka, Kairi, the new women's tag team champions, Nia Jax, Lash Legend. The fact that I don't think even 2 weeks ago we could have predicted that a women's War Games match might look anything like this.
Lash Legend? No. Until Friday, I didn't expect to see Lash Legend on the main roster.
The bougie bully.
No.
And now it's but I mean, what do you think of that, Big E, as somebody who made the journey from NXT to the main roster? The idea that it's like, okay, Lash, you're on the main roster now, but you're going right into War Games, and you're going into War Games with, I mean, listen to who's in there with Rhea and with Io and with Charlotte and with Asuka, and with, like, these are the best of the best, and now Lash has to rise to that occasion.
It's such a great spot for her. It is a big spot. There's a lot of pressure. But I will say, even just in the small moments that we've seen her on the main roster so far, she has looked excellent. In the 2 or 3 things that she did tonight, everything looked phenomenal. She is an athlete. She is strong. She is powerful. She's got size. She's got length. She's got charisma. I think this is such a great moment for her really to put her stamp on saying, yeah, I'm here. And I'm not just another body on the roster. I'm someone who's going to be a force here. So I'm really excited. I think it's about damn time for Lash Legend to be called up. But I do love this is a big spot. Look, I was on the main roster, I think, for about 4 or 5 months before I had my first main roster match, and that was at WrestleMania. That's a very big spot. But like this is a quick turnaround for Lash. She's only got a few weeks before she's in probably the most brutal match that we have. And the expectations for this match are high. She's in there with the best women in the world. She's in there with Io. She's in there with Rhea. She's in there with the very, very best. And I think it's a great opportunity for her really to showcase her skills. But I love how I think this all came together very quickly, to your point. But it's got so much juice. I love that they got the main event. I love even seeing Rhea with the face mask on. She looks like she's ready for War Games, you know? And Io, I can't wait. I need that trash can spot from Io Sky. I can't wait. It's a staple. Anytime she's in a War Games match, we just need it. I'm sorry. Any cage match, we need it, okay? But no, this match is going to be phenomenal. We've said it time and time again, especially on the show. The women have absolutely carried this year in WWE. I can't wait for this match because I think they're going to bring a lot of creativity, a lot of brutality, a lot of violence. It's going to be a great match.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley work on the same team with one another, because that was a match at WrestleMania that we all said was, a candidate for match of the year. And we haven't really seen Charlotte and Rhea together in quite some time. So to have them on the same team at War Games, I'm curious to see what that looks like, E.
Yeah, me too. And again, I think there's something about Rhea and her biggest rivals becoming friends, becoming teammates. I think they all, and again, like I said before, I think shedding blood with someone, going in those brutal battles where you bring out the best in each other, those 5-star matches where you really have to dig deep. I think there is a level of kinship after those matches, a level of trust where, hey, we beat the hell out of each other, and I know how good you are. There's a level of respect earned in the ring when you share that kind of chemistry, when you go toe-to-toe like that. And I think we'll see that at War Games. I can't wait for those two to team together. To your point, we haven't seen them in the ring together in quite some time. But now seeing them have each other's backs, that's going to be a lot of fun. It really will be.
I'm also really interested in the future of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, because I think what really bonded them as a team was the tag team championship. And they are no longer tag team champions. Does this mean that, like, in the long term, their work as a team is over? Or does this mean that they still have those team goals? Because both of them are single stars, right? They not only won the title, but they had this great reign. I think they elevated the women's tag team championship. I think if you look at the women's tag team division now, the division is stronger than it was when they got the tag team championship, which I think is the mark of great champions. But at the same time, they're both top tier singles female stars. So I think you have to ask yourself, like, do those two remain a tag team act, or do they go their separate ways? Because I also truly believe, and it's really hard to argue in my opinion, that this team changed Charlotte Flair. This team changed the perception of Charlotte Flair. I think this team was everything Charlotte Flair needed. Before this team, you had this Charlotte Flair that was getting booed in buildings and was almost confused as to why. And she, well, I'm trying my best, and I came back from this injury, and I'm putting on the best matches, and they're booing me, and I I don't know why. I don't know why I can't win them over. And it seemed like it meant a lot to her to win the fans over. But something has happened throughout the kind of the build and execution of this team with Alexa Bliss, where this, I guess, more human side of Charlotte Flair has come out to the point where now she is getting cheered. And now you don't even think, you just take for granted. Well, of course, I'm happy to see Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is great. Like, you forget almost that she was getting booed before. So I wonder what that version of Charlotte Flair, not a tag team champion, potentially back in the singles division, I wonder what that looks like as well.
Yeah, you know what? I hope this isn't it for those two. I have really enjoyed them together. I think oftentimes with these tag teams that can be thrown together, it just doesn't click. It doesn't feel right. For me, it's clicked right away. I love the whole "we're not friends" bit. And to your point, I think from the Charlotte that I've known now for over a decade, I think she's someone who has had to kind of put up her walls to protect herself for a long time. And I think being that lone wolf, having that lone wolf mentality for so long, not just in her career, but I think in many ways, probably throughout a lot of her life, I think that's like by design. And it has been a survival instinct. It has allowed her to keep on going, to keep a lot of the outside forces from being able to bring her down. But I think this tag team with Alexa, I think has just forced her to be a little bit more vulnerable, more human, to let people in a little bit more. And it's been a joy to see this version of her. Because I think when you really get to know her, when she allows people in, when she trusts people, she really is magnetic. She's warm, she's funny, she's charismatic, all those things. And that's a version of her I don't think a lot of people have been able to see. And we got more glimpses of that with the backstage interviews with Alexa. Like that, I thought they really brought the best out of each other. And it was heartwarming to see both of them at this stage in their career. To your point, they've both done so much as single stars. They've won countless world titles. They've had Hall of Fame careers by themselves. But this I think, has been just a really good time for both of them. And I think it's allowed them to both get their flowers a bit more. So I hope this isn't the end. I've really loved their pairing. It's been heartwarming to see them on SmackDown. I've loved the backstages. It's been touching in many ways for me. So I hope this continues. But I more than anything, I hope they get to do what they want at this stage in their careers. If it is to go their separate ways and be single stars, so be it. But if they want to keep going as a tag team, I'd love to see that.
Deep in the cockles of your heart is where it touched you.
Yes, deep in those cuckolds. I don't know why you felt the need to say it that way, but yes, deep in the cuckolds. Yes,
I thought it was important. I like to paint the picture. That's just kind of my thing.
It's appreciated.
We haven't talked about the arguably the best moment of Monday Night Raw tonight was when William Regal appeared backstage.
Oh, we're getting there. Oh, we're definitely getting there. Before we get there, because you're right. I know I'm excited too.
I know.
I keep thinking about it. That moment.
I was like, he's not really there.
Traditionally, though, these War Games matches are 5-on-5, right? Traditionally.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes,
Maybe it'll be
yes,
4-on-4.
yes.
Who's to say? We don't know anything. We're just sitting here watching the programs. I'm going to put you on the spot. You first. If you were to add one more person to each team, who's on the Rhea Ripley team? Who's on the Asuka team? If you were to add one more on each.
Ooh, that is a lot of pressure. When is Bianca going to be back? That is my question.
That's a great question.
Pie in the sky. Let's say if Bianca's healthy, I would love to see Bianca on Team Rhea. I don't know who the captain is, but let's say on that side.
She
And
said
if
the
we're
War
looking-
Games thing.
Yes, she did. And on the other side, I'm trying to. Who is missing? That would be. You know what? We need more big spots for Julia. I would love to see Julia in a big showcase like this. Obviously, she's coming off of a title loss to Chelsea, but I feel like this is a match that would allow Julia to shine. Let's add Julia to the mix.
What do you think, Meg?
Well, now you brought up Chelsea, and I'm like torn. Obviously, you know what I think, Sam. I mean, I want Becky Lynch in the match.
Okay.
I want Becky Lynch on Team Asuka.
But you want Chelsea on too?
But now they brought up Chelsea, and I'm wearing the Chelsea green shirt, and now she's United States champion. I'm like, Chelsea in War Games would be pretty spectacular. Or we could have Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer.
That'd
be fun.
I'm not mad at that.
That'd be fun.
You could do Becky Lynch, Maxine Dupree.
That'd be my pick. I would love to see, because going back to that War Games thing, like I love the idea of Maxine. It's like, okay, like she's had a couple of opportunities recently to really shine and has taken those opportunities well. And I feel like War Games becomes that next opportunity to be like, how much work have you been doing in that dungeon? What does it look like when you're in a War Games match, you know? And I think it could be really cool, but it'll get very interesting. All right, let's get to the William Regal of it all. Let's get to when we saw it. Okay, so CM Punk comes out, right? And CM Punk is ready for a street fight, and you know he is because he had his elbow taped. You know, it's one thing if you just come out in a sleeveless shirt, that could just be Punk, right? But he had the tape on the elbow. I was like, oh, somebody's getting beat up. This is gonna be great. And he comes out, you know, and he calls out Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes out. Logan Paul's doing a lot of talking. You know, Punk was proving again, it's dangerous to go mic for mic with CM Punk. If there's one chink in your armor, Punk is going to be the one to point it out. But then Logan said those magic words. Well, he said the vision is what he said. And the vision surrounds Logan Paul. And I think that answers a lot of the questions that we had going off the air on Monday Night Raw last week, when you see that there is at least this cooperation, if not a full-on membership, of Logan Paul and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman is insulting CM Punk and talking about how unlikable he is. He's a terrible friend. He's this. The only person worse is AJ Lee. And then CM Punk tells them that AJ Lee would leave them in a puddle of their own bodily fluids in front of everybody. And it just gets, but that's when Jey Uso comes out to have CM Punk's back, right? And I love what we're getting with Jey Uso, because this is what I wanted to see out of Jey Uso, was not him to become a villain. You know what I mean? Just do that sort of like, well, if he's this, now he'll be that. More this kind of evolution of Jey. There's a gradient nature to it, where Jey is like, no, I'm not saying that I'm a quote unquote bad guy now. I'm saying that I'm a self-assured person. I realize that I need to tune everybody out and just follow my instincts. And what I'm following is the fact that, like, yeah, I'll have your back on this, CM Punk.
When I saw this evolution of Jey Uso, I said LFG.
Yeah. I like it. I got it. I got it.
Thank you. I had to.
I got it. No. Good for you. Good for you.
I had to shoot.
But then you had this moment, right? And this moment where Cody comes out to save the day. And you realize that this is why Cody is special. This is why Cody's in the position that he's in. Because when you don't expect it happening, when you need a hero to come in on that horse and come into town and save the day, Cody is your guy. Boston, which isn't always the friendliest city to the good guys, is not only cheering for him, but after the music goes off, they're still singing Cody's song. And Cody and Punk and Jey are able to fend off the Vision and Logan Paul. And we get to the back. And of course, we're all thinking this as fans. We're all going like, okay, I see teams formulating. I see something happening. But that's when Punk goes, Regal, get over here. And you're just like, yes, we get War Games. And already, I would like to say that just looking at the 3-on-3, it is already so compelling on the men's side and already so completely loaded with stars going into this War Games match.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I also was wondering where this alignment with the Vision was going for Logan and what this means. And look, whether it's temporary, whether it's just for War Games, whether it's more than that, it's interesting. And I'm intrigued to see how he works with people. Typically, he doesn't play well with others. He does not play nice with others. But I think this pairing, this trio so far, I think is a fascinating one. And also to Megan, to your point, the evolution of Jey, I also love this because I've thought about his career. And look, I think of Jey's biggest moments in his career and going from, look, you remember the Usos and the face paint, going to day one-ish, going over to SmackDown. It wasn't listening to outside noise. It was, hey, it's time for us to make a change. This is the change we're going to make. When Jey started doing the single stuff, 5 years ago, it was, I think, I think he needs to listen to his gut more, because I think his best moments have been when he's trusted himself, when he's been able to block out that outside noise and just focus. And when Jay is focused, he's very dangerous. He can get so much accomplished. He can be at the very top of this industry time and time again. And I think too often he was listening to others. He was too worried about perception. But if Jay keeps the main thing, and that's on being the best he can in the ring, he's going to be an absolute star for as long as he wants to be in this industry. But yeah, I love the way this team is shaping up. I'm so intrigued to see who gets added over the next couple weeks before we get to Survivor Series. But right now, it's looking real good on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that we have a World Heavyweight Champion and a WWE Champion on the same team for War Games, that's pretty massive. It's pretty big.
And also, like, one of the things that I thought was interesting as well is right before Cody's music hits, you get those Roman chants, the OTC chants. And I thought, is there going to be a moment where people are let down, where and that's the last thing you want if you're Cody, is to feel like, Roman's really the guy they want, and I'm just a substitute. But hearing them sing his song the way they did before the Melee, hearing the Cody Rhodes, the European style chants, really was heartwarming, because that guy, the amount of work he puts in, the way he really captains the ship, like, he does it the right way. He gives so much to the fans, to this industry, to the company. He's a guy who deserves to get his flowers from the fans. And like you said, Boston is not the easiest town to get over in, but I love that he was heralded the way he should be in Boston.
Yeah, it was almost like, because they didn't expect it, it was almost like, oh, this is even better. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know. And, it almost felt like when you felt the energy of that audience, when you listened to it, it was almost like they surprised themselves with how happy they were to see Cody. But that's when you know that you're that dude. Well, E, we always appreciate the analysis, my friend. Always great to have you on the show. I'm sure we'll talk to you again, hopefully before Survivor Series. But if not, we'll talk to you maybe at Survivor Series.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you, my friend.
You kind of petered out there.
I know, because I didn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can we finish on a high? I feel like I feel less than now. So if you could not peter out, can we do good?
I will tell you this. I was just thinking. I always appreciate so much when the ultimate analysis of one of the great talkers, one of the great purveyors of knowledge in this world of sports entertainment, when a former WWE champion can grace us with his presence, and just the mere thought that sometime in the near future we will speak again has left me giddy with anticipation. E, thank you so much for being here with us today.
That's what I'm talking about, my man. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you go out. I appreciate you, boo. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, E. You are the best. We were just talking about Cody Rhodes. We got good news this week on Raw as well. That Cody's podcast is coming back. What do you want to talk about is part of the podcast fleet of shows that we have on the WWE Network, along with, Impulsive and 6 Feet Under and What's Your Story with Stephanie McMahon, and, of course, this podcast. But what do you want to talk about is back. Natalya is Cody's guest this week, and, of course, Natalya just came out with her book, so I'm sure I cannot wait to hear the conversation between Cody Rhodes and Natalya, just getting into everything, and to hear those two people who both are so entrenched in wrestling families. When
Lineage.
you hear wrestling has more than one royal family.
Well, that's two of them right there.
Exactly. So I can't wait to hear that podcast. And by the way, Cody Rhodes arrived tonight. Well, you see what he was wearing? What he was decked out in?
It's like a little camo.
Oh, his all new camo collection. It is here. This collection features a t-shirt, a hat, a weight belt, and of course, everyone's favorite, the Windbreaker. Get yours now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. And speaking of Cody and Fanatics, don't forget to wear your gear when you are listening to the new podcast, which, by the way, comes out November 12th. Don't wait until the last minute when it comes to gifting. Check out early gift picks at WWE Shop and Fanatics and get your holiday shopping done early. From tees to collectibles, there's something for every fan on your list. You got to do it, or you're going to get shut out, and it's going to be very, very embarrassing. There's so much stuff there. Help yourself to it. You can even get a little Sam, the WrestleMania figures that have a Sam Roberts Build-A-Figure. Those are up on WWE Shop. You can get one of these guys for yourself. Any child in your life, in your family, they'll all be so excited. A little suited Sam Roberts under the Christmas tree, it can happen. It can happen. You can make dreams come true. Are you doing that for your daughter?
That's right. That's
That is what you're
first
doing.
action figure. It's Becky Lynch and then little Sam.
Little Sam will be there.
Right there.
Here for the holidays. I cannot wait for Madison Square Garden.
The table is set.
Monday Night Raw. Like I said, 2 more tournament matches. You got Javon Evans versus Gunther. You got Solo Sikoa versus a mystery opponent. You've got Becky Lynch defending her Intercontinental Championship. You had asked, when is Maxine Dupree going to be ready? She's going to be ready this coming Monday night at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. I think it's going to be and of course, John Cena's last time at Madison Square Garden. I think it's going to be a very, very special Raw. I think it's going to be a very, very special Raw recap. Make sure that you're there for it. Subscribe across audio platforms. You can comment and like on YouTube. And we will see you next week when we recap the next Raw on Raw Recap.